Hey everybody, Brock Frady here, helping you enjoy your ride. In today's video, we're going to take an in-depth look at this pretty sick 2023 Jeep Gladiator Mojave. I gotta say, I really wanted to hate this thing. And I've never said that before about a vehicle. Because for years, I've seen them as a, just kind of like as an imitation Jeep. I don't know why I feel that way. I've never really actually liked the way they look. They look freaky. Actually, I take that back. From some angles, they look absolutely awesome. Super cool, rugged and tough and all that. But then you can see it at another angle and it's the same vehicle and it just looks weird. And I'm like, what in the world is this thing? I have not had an opportunity to take it out on a trail. I can't imagine what it would be like if I was actually able to get it out in some mud and some dirt and all that stuff and do what it's intended to do. But in this video, I'm gonna show you why I like this thing. I've actually kind of become a believer. Now, I don't have a little rubber ducky yet. Nobody's given me a rubber ducky. You know, I don't know if that's in Jeep culture, if you're supposed to do that for a Jeep truck, you know, the Gladiator, if that's only a Wrangler thing, I don't know. We're gonna go over the inside, the outside, and we're gonna end up behind the wheel where I'll show you how all the features work. And then of course, we're gonna take it for a spin. But before we begin, I would like to give Impex Auto Sales in Greensboro, North Carolina, a huge thank you for the opportunity to film this 2023 Jeep Gladiator Mojave. I'll be sure to leave all of Impex Auto Sales contact information, including their website, in the description box below. The Gladiator Mojave is a specialized off-road vehicle designed for high-speed desert adventures, according to Jeep. It represents its commitment to innovation and performance, being the first Jeep to receive the Desert Rated badge. Power comes from this 3.6-liter Pentastar V6 engine. It generates 285 horsepower and 260 pound-foot of torque. This, from what I have found, is going to give you ample power. It's got nice torque, it's got nice power, and based on the experience that I've had over driving it over several days, of course I've not been doing any off-roading in any way at all, but I'm thinking it's going to give you all that you're going to need. All of this is mounted to an 8-speed automatic transmission. Transmission shifts smoothly, and it's also shiftable, so you can flip it over at any speed and change gears manually. It's got a factory lift kit, and this of course is going to improve your approach angles, ground clearance. It's also pretty necessary for navigating desert dunes and rocky trails, because I know all of you guys are going to be going over desert dunes in this Jeep. Part of the whole Mojave package is going to be a high performance suspension system. You can see right there Fox shocks. These are going to be 2.5-inch internal bypass shocks with external reservoirs to handle all of that rough terrain that you're going to be going in and over and under and through and all that stuff, like mall parking lots. Also, these shocks feature front hydraulic jounce bumpers. I actually had to Google jounce bumpers. Please forgive me, because I'm really not familiar with this lingo, and apparently jounce bumpers, it sounds like a it sounds like it should be bounce jumpers, but no, it's jounce bumpers. Just look them up. My goodness, they're pretty cool, and they keep you from bottoming out if you're on real heavy rocky terrain where you could bottom out. Jounce bumpers. Another cool part of the Mojave package is the hood scoop right here. It is not functional at all. Serves no purpose other than to look cool, but I love the way that looks. I've seen Rubicon versions of these and they don't have that, and it's like, to me, all of these things should have that hood scoop just for the look of it, because that makes it look completely cool. You see what I mean? In the intro I said that this thing can look completely different in different settings, right? Or different angles. Look at this right here. That just looks freaking awesome. See that right there? Doesn't that look cool? Got the big tire, the lights, and big orange tow hooks, Mojave, hood scoop, all that stuff. But then when you come around the back and you start to kind of focus on the bed of the truck, it starts to look funky. It looks real beefy and athletic up front, but look, here, I don't know what it is, but to me, this just, it's like slender and small. And it's like they put all of the cool design elements in the front and just went with a square box in the back. I don't know. It just looks kind of, it skipped leg day. That's all it is. Up front, you know, it does upper body all the time. See that? You got big triceps and biceps and shoulders all right there, right? Leg day. Nope, we ain't doing leg day. I think I just summed it up right there. Still a cool truck though. Here's one of my favorite parts about the Mojave. I love these big old Falcon Wild Peak all-terrain tires. You almost feel bad for saying the name of them. Falcon. It almost sounds inappropriate. But look at these things. Wild Peak all-terrain tires. Man, these things have teeth. They look really good. Super sharp. Wild Peak AT, that of course stands for all-terrain, AT3W. And I like how they're toothy on the outside too. You see that? And I think that's if you get into a mud situation where you're kind of bogged down, that's going to give you some leverage right there. Those things look fabulous on this truck. I love it. You've got disc brakes up front. You've got disc brakes in the back, of course. And then those big old Fox shocks. It just looks really good. Nice and strong and toothy and big and deep and all that stuff. Also, these the wheels are 17-inch wheels. They look pretty good too. You got a 5-spoke wheel setup situation type there. It looks kind of like a star a little bit. But I've heard that these are beadlock capable wheels. And that's going to allow you to lower the tire pressure, improving traction and stability on soft surfaces like sand. And of course, it would make complete sense for these to have that since this is the Mojave Desert Edition, desert rated truck. I don't know what 17-inch beadlock capable means though. You kind of either have it or you don't. Anyways, Easter egg, you can see the little Jeep icon right there. How cool is that? And if you are into Jeep culture, Jeep lore, Jeep fandom, then you're going to know that Jeep puts Easter eggs all over their trucks. And I've read about a few, so we just found one right there on the wheel. One of the things that I can say about it, and this is where I'm kind of pointing out the front end. As you know, I already like the front end. It's nice and athletic and big and bulky. But the thing about it is that the headlights aren't very good at night. I don't think they're LED. Maybe the fog lights are. No, they're halogen. I can see the little bulbs inside. I would think that a vehicle of this caliber, of this size, of this cost, which is north of 60 grand, is going to have some LEDs up front. But I don't think that's the case here. Anyways, you've got a cool little Easter egg right there. You've got your front badge or your grill, Jeep grill right there, that is embedded into the front headlight there. And then of course, going along with the orange Mojave motif are going to be your big fat orange tow hooks, Mojave trimmed in orange badge there or sticker there. Of course, Jeep, that is going to be trimmed out, desert rated. All of that in orange. And then coming around here to the back, orange tow hooks, and then the orange Jeep emblem there, trimmed out in orange, I should say. And I do honestly like how the tail lights kind of stick out from, you see that? How they stick out from the edge right there. That's a pretty cool look. Now, since this is a truck, let's take a look at the bed of the truck. You can see that you have a lock here. And in the key fob, it's a switchblade key fob, and that's what the key is going to be for. Otherwise, it's totally touch free, key free. So you can just take this, and it's a soft open. It will drop down for you nice and soft. This truck bed cover I don't think is factory, but it's a cool product, so I'm going to shout it out. It's a Pro X15 Truck Hero by Truxedo. You can see truxedo.com, and the reason I shouted it out is because I like it, and it's a good product, and you might want to check them out. All you do here is you just kind of roll it up, and it's got Velcro, and so you just keep doing this, and that's a pretty neat thing. And I'm sure this is not the only one that does this, but look at that. I like that product. So there is your truck bed. It's just a truck bed. This one happens to have a rubber mat in the back there, all-weather rubber mat. You've got bed light right there, and then you've got some hooks here up in the front, and then of course hooks here in the back to tie things down. No spray-in bed liner or anything like that. So you can see there, that's just about it. Not real fancy, but a truck bed's really not supposed to be super fancy. You do have like a carpeted mat here. I like that. Kind of a cool look, but there you go. See, it looks kind of cool from this angle. I like it, but there's just unique angles that this thing has that just look kind of unique, I should say. So showing you this, you probably saw me roll this up, and if you're familiar with this product, you're probably like you did not finish the setup, and you would be right. There's a hook right here, and then you have a little place here where you can put that hook, and it's going to hold this whole thing in place. That I like this. That's a nice little thing there. Now, speaking of back seats, let's take a look at the back seat of this thing. The door is a door, little storage thing, orange stitching here. I like the whole orange and green motif. By the way, this color is called Sarge green. You can see why. It's super military, and I actually love the color of this thing. I really do like this color. It's pretty cool. So there's your door, got your tent on the back, and then right here in the seat back, everything is very functional. You've got hooks, you've got a pocket right there, you've got your Jeep all-weather mats, leather seating surfaces, ISOFIX, that's going to be for child safety seats, and it's kind of functional, basic. Everything works very well. You do have outlets here for climate so that your back seat people have AC and heat. There is an outlet here, just like an outlet in your house, and then USB, and these end things, these are going to be for your power windows right there, up and down. Front seat here, a lot of the same. Orange stitching, nice seating, nice bolstering, pretty good bolstering right there. Mojave right there, emblazoned. I think this is an aftermarket product, but it's nice and orange to match. It might not be aftermarket, this could be factory, I just don't know, but it looks like it's made in America, which I like. Right here is going to be where you move the seat back, so that's going to be how you recline the seat, and then you can slide it from right here. There's a handle that you can pull up to move the seat forward, and that is going to be it as far as the seat functions are concerned. So that's it. I love the interior. I love all of the orange accents around the climate system outlets there. Orange stitching, more orange stitching on the dash. It's just very cool. It's really easy to operate everything in this Jeep. It's pretty self-explanatory, pretty efficient. So without further ado, let's take a look at the interior from the driver's seat. So taking a look at the steering wheel here, over on the left side, you're going to see OK, up, down, left, right. You're going to see voice commands, phone on hook and off hook, and then cruise control. What's interesting about this vehicle is that this thing does not have radar cruise control. I think that's where that would be, and that is amazing to me, to think how many manufacturers are making radar cruise and lane mitigation and all those things, blind spot warning, standard. It is not. This thing does not even have blind spot warning, and it's a Mojave. It's not like it's a base billy goat. It's pretty dressed up, but it does not have all of those things. Anyways, right here on the left side, up, down, left, right, OK is going to control your features right here in the multi-information display between the tachometer and the speedometer. So you can go here. So let's take a look at the functions that are right there. By the way, over here on the left side, you can't really see it, but you can reach up on the dash and there's a little dial that you can go down and up with. You see that? And so we're going to do that because, yeah, that's too bright. So we're going to go there because that looks really good on my camera to take a look at this multi-information display. So in this multi-information display, you have several different options. As you can see, you have digital speedometer right there. And I'm going to be pressing up, down, left, right, and OK on the information display. But you can see in the top corner right there is your compass, temperature, fuel gauge, temperature gauge, or that's outside temperature, that's engine temperature. And then right here's your miles, the gear you're in, and then of course speedometer. So I can actually press down or up, and you can see right there it says 1 and then there's a down and up arrow. There are a total of 9 screens. So that's screen number 1. You can press OK for kilometers per hour, then vehicle info, and that's screen number 2. And then you can see here if you use left and right, you can go, I'm pressing right now. Oil pressure, oil life. So oil has 54%, battery voltage. There's your tire pressure, coolant, transmission. And so there you go. That's all going to be vehicle info, mainly temperatures and percentages. Pressing down, off-road, that is my pitch and roll. How neat is that? And then there's the drivetrain. So that's going to be showing you where the power is going, essentially. And then right there, you can see I'm actually sitting in my driveway right now, and I have a steep driveway, or at least it's a grade of 8. So there you go. Pressing down again, that was screen number 3. Screen number 4, there's my fuel economy, and that's that. Down again, trip info, trip A, trip B. Down again, stop start. I have that off so the engine stays running all the time. It does not cut off at stoplights. And then pressing down again, that's going to be the audio, no stored messages, and then number 9. Press OK to enter screen setup. So this is where you're going to see a lot of different functions that you can customize. I just pressed OK. So you can see there it highlighted the top left corner. So what do you want to be in the upper left corner? Press OK to select. And then in the upper left hand corner, these are your options. Isn't that neat? Range, average economy, current economy, trip A, trip B, none, compass. And I am going to put the time because that's what I like. Press OK to select. Pretty cool. And then upper right, and it'll basically, you can go through that, all that same menu. Defaults, current gear, all that. Press left to exit. We're just going to press left. And so that's your screen setup. So that's where you can customize this screen. So that's your multi-information display right there, all in the middle. And then I'm going to press down again, and right there is screen number 1. Now let's take a look at this whole big screen right here. I like how the screen is kind of ringed right here by this plastic piece, so it stands out a little bit, but it feels like it's fully integrated into the dash. It does not stick up out of the dash. I like how it feels like kind of natural, like it's in the dash. But you can see here all along the very bottom, media, climate controls, all these, and then you have settings. So right now, obviously, we are in media, and you can press media and it will take you to this screen. You can see up here, there is an arrow, and when I just press the arrow, and this is going to be all of our memorized stations. Now, in order to memorize a station, you can see I'm listening to 92.3. That is not on any of these, and all I need to do to memorize one of these into this is going to be to hold it, and there you go. I've got a little beep to let me know that now 92.3 is number 1. If I want to do that again, I can just tune it to a station that I like and go and hold number 2. That's FM. Then there's AM, then there's Sirius XM, then there's source select. and I have auxiliary, Bluetooth, USB, and USB 1 and USB 2. So those are my other ways that I can listen to music or a podcast or whatever. Do you want to pair a Bluetooth device? No, not right now. And so I can just simply go back to FM. So that's all going to be right there. And then I can go here to browse. I can tune manually here, or actually this is manually, so I can tune any radio station. I can just dial the station up that I want, hit go, and it'll go to it automatically. You can see that it's nice, touch sensitive. It has a swipe feature, and it's really easy to use. It doesn't show fingerprints well, so I really like this setup. It's very, very intuitive. Then you have climate right here. That's all easy to work. Again, another kind of negative about this thing is that it does not, this one in particular does not have heated seats, and to me that's just crazy that a vehicle like this does not have heated seats or a heated steering wheel. I don't get that at this price. So right here you can see you can adjust it up and down, and that is going to allow you to adjust the temperature. You can see here you can adjust the function. So there's your front defrost, rear defrost, and auto. And then I can go controls, mirror dimmer, backup camera, and settings. By the way, Jeep, do us all a favor and tell us how you create a backup camera that looks that clear. You may not be able to see how clear that thing is on the screen, but that is the clearest backup camera I think I have ever seen. It is fantastic. And the detail that you can see on this thing. Also notice I'm turning the steering wheel right now. You can see the grid lines. They're dynamic. They're not fixed all the time. So it allows you to really maneuver backing into parking spaces very easily. And with the tires and the width of this thing, it's gobbles up parking spaces like crazy. So you really need this, and that is a great backup camera. Thank you for creating such a substantially good backup camera. So that's under controls, and then I can go settings under controls, and this is a litany of all the different settings that are available. So I can go display, and it allows me to change different things in my display. I can go theme and Jeep 1, Jeep 2, Jeep 3, Jeep 4. And so that's whenever, I think this is actually whenever I start the vehicle, what is going to pop up. Honestly, I'm not actually sure, but there's 18 to pick from. So that's that. I can go back to settings, and then I can go units, and then there's voice response length. This is pretty substantial, what you can do to kind of customize all this. Then I can go clock. I really appreciate this because what you want to do when you get one of these is you want to go into this, and I went controls and settings, and you want to go in and you want to customize all of these different things. You want to spend some time here and customize all these different things, because if you're going to spend this amount of money on a vehicle, you want to be able to use it fully, basically take advantage of everything that you possibly can. And these are major convenience, even some safety features that you need to be using. Hill start assist, it's great in this vehicle. I've actually been in vehicles where hill start assist says it works, but it really doesn't if you're on a real steep incline. Hill start assist basically keeps you still. So if you pull up to a stop light and it's a real steep grade and you take your foot off the brake, it's just going to stay in place. And I tested it yesterday and it works really well. That is active, and we don't want to mess with that. So back to settings. Mirrors and wipers, lights, all that stuff. Let's see, where are we? Yeah, mirrors and wipers. Headlights with wipers, sure, why not? Lights, and this is probably going to be the delay. That's right. So headlight off delay, they're going to stay on for 30 seconds upon exiting to let you get into the house. Headlight illumination on approach, yep, we want all of that on. I like that. So again, I would just really recommend coming in here. It's not too complicated, but to basically do everything that you want to do to customize it just the way you want it. Where do you want the sound to be focused in the Jeep? I like it right in the middle. Equalizer, bass, mid-range, and treble. I like the bass up a little bit, mid-range up a little bit, and treble up about as much as the bass. That's kind of where speed adjusted volume. it will increase the volume level relative to an increase in vehicle speed. And I actually recommend doing it at midway at about 2. And again, because this thing is sitting on the tires that it's sitting on, this is actually good, because as you speed up, the volume of the stereo is going to go up. That's a pretty cool feature. Autoplay USB devices will automatically play when autoplay is turned on. Yep, we want that active. And so there you go. That's pretty cool. I'm going to exit out of this. Then there's apps, and this is going to be some subscription-based type stuff, but this actually has a substantial amount of different things that you can do. Some of these are subscription-based, not all of them. But Projection Manager, that allows you to show what is on the screen of your phone right here on the screen of the vehicle. Paired audio sources, paired phones, so that's pretty cool. Wi-Fi hotspot, that's going to be a subscription-based situation. Notifications, off-road pages, nothing's going to actually appear on that because there is no information to display, because we've not done anything off-road. Backup camera, we took a look at that. And then controls, audio settings. So that's kind of like a quick access menu for controls and different various things. And then navigation here, that just shows you your navigation screen. And then phone, we don't want to connect a phone yet, but yes, we can connect our Bluetooth phone right there. And then settings, we took a look at that. So that's going to be the functions for the center multi-display right there. That's a pretty cool system. Now, taking a look one step below the screen is going to be your climate and your audio right here. There's some driving functions that are going to be here as well. Volume, power on, power off, front and rear defrost, climate control. So this is how you control fan speed. That's all right there. When you press auto, it's automatically going to sync it to the temperature, just like the central AC in your house. Temperature up, temperature down for driver and passenger. Mode, that's going to control fan direction. AC, recirculate, and then another audio thing, that's tune, scroll, browse, enter right there. Screen off, that's where you can turn the display off that we just took a look at. And then right here is going to be your select speed shift. So in order to use select speed shift, you actually have to shift it to 4-wheel drive low. And that essentially is going to allow the vehicle to modulate the gas, and you pretty much just steer. Traction control off, automatic engine shut off, and then mute. Right here is going to be the power window controls. That's for the front, that's for the rear. And then right here is a power outlet, and then right here is media, so that's going to be for your USB, Apple devices, and auxiliary. Right down here is axle locker. It will lock the rear axle, and then off-road plus. We took a look at that in the beginning of the video. And then finally, we have a couple of sticks right here. Since it is automatic, obviously, you are just going to push this button on the front side of the shifter. And again, you do have it is an 8-speed shiftable multi-shift transmission. So when you are back here in drive, you can flip it over at any speed. You can push it forward to downshift, pull it back to upshift. And then this is going to be for 2-wheel drive, 4 high, neutral, and 4 low for when you get off-road. And I appreciate the fact that you have an old school emergency brake right there. I like that. Most cars have automatic, e-brake and all that stuff nowadays. I like this old school style. And of course, one of the most important things that you need to know about this Jeep is, how do you take the roof off? Because that's one of the biggest deals about owning one of these things, is you want to go topless, baby. So you can take the front off. You can also take the rear off. I'm going to show you how to take the front off, but the rear is a little bit different because it's a little more complicated. But just know you can take this entire roof off. This is going to be the front portion, and then there's a back portion behind this bar right here. And in this bar, you've got lights and speakers, but you can see right there, you've got another portion that's white like the front, and that is totally removable as well. So you can remove the entire roof. Of course, you can also remove the doors. And in order to remove the doors, you go here, See that right there? And there's a few steps to it, but you know, essentially you can just pull them right off. It's kind of easy. You see that you have a thing here, so you can go pop, pop, there, there, and look at that. It comes right off. And then to put it back on, there, 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 and that is it. How cool is that? The thing about the Jeep is that when you buy one of these, you buy the culture, and it's a pretty cool culture. There's a Jeep right in front of me and a Wrangler in front of me full of kids, and I'm doing the drive of this thing, and right now, and they just all waved at me and all that stuff. They wouldn't have done that if I was in any other vehicle other than this thing. Pretty neat culture. I liked the drive. I'm really shocked by the drive. The steering is very responsive. It's a little bit loose. That's not a huge deal, but the turning radius is like second to none. You wouldn't think this thing would have the turning radius that it does. It's a great turning radius. I like sitting up high. That is due in large part to the lift and the big tires, but the drive is great. It feels slightly underpowered, but you know, it's got the V6 in it. It would be fabulous with that big old 392 or even a Hellcat engine. Can you imagine? But it doesn't feel like tremendously underpowered. It'll get the job done. And I wouldn't say that if you're going to have this vehicle that you're going to be really relying on a ton of power and bulk and brawn to do what you got to do. If you have this thing, likely you're rarely, if ever, going to actually go off-road. You're probably just driving it, and you know, a lot of times around town you might take it off-road some, but if you get a Jeep, you're probably wanting to get involved in the Jeep culture, and you're probably not using this as your primary means of transportation. If you are, more power to you. If you take it off-road, fantastic. But so I said all that to say, if you do have this as a second car vehicle, then it's going to be super comfortable. It's going to be super capable, and it's easy to operate. I have really thoroughly enjoyed this truck. Like I said in the beginning, I wanted to not like this thing because I've seen them. All right, we're going to get on it here a little bit. Hold that thought. Transmission is buttery smooth. The transmission is a fantastic shifting transmission. I really like the way it shifts. The shifts are kind of long, but it's got great shifting. There's no issue with the transmission at all. I just hope Jeep makes a good transmission. The power, again, like I said, that's on the floor. You can barely feel any torque at all. So it's not really, it's not, you know, you're not going to tote the mail with this, as it were. It does not run like a scalded dog, like they used to say back in the day. But again, it just gets the job done. So if you're going to have this vehicle as a secondary vehicle, it's gonna be great. If it's going to be a daily driver, it might not be the most fuel efficient thing in the world, but it'll be fun. It feels good to get in and out of this thing, and to pull up into a parking space and be like, yeah, you know, check out this cool Jeep. And that's actually the way I feel about it now. I don't really feel so much that, you know, that's just an ugly, odd, quirky looking whatever. It's pretty cool. The suspension system is good. It feels nice and flat. There's not a ton of body roll. That's thanks in due in large part to the Fox suspension system setup. It does really well. I would love to feel this thing off-road. I would love an opportunity to take it off-road, because I think that it would be very capable, which is where this thing is going to shine. Okay, everybody, that's going to do it for our look at the 2023 Jeep Gladiator Mojave. I hope you enjoyed this video, and make sure you give it a big fat thumbs up. But remember, the most important thing of all, have a wonderful day, everybody.